Smilingfaces21 here with greetings of love, hope, and faith on our topic, our usual topic, why suicide, why not, and life. And here with me today, I've got a friend and a 2CCX member that she's a woman of faith that is in charge of, or should I say, the director of Women at War, and she has a Facebook page in regards to ensuring women, pray and have faith and hope as well. So she'll be joining me on this platform to actually talk about what she's gone through as well in life, and hopefully her message will help anybody listening out there, one person, to change their mind or their thoughts that nobody knows about, of maybe wanting to end their life or the feeling. And hopefully she will be able to, her message will be able to bring hope and faith and stop someone out there from trying to end their life. You're welcome, Sharon. So
Thank you, Shola. Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege to be here with you. I love what you're doing and the topic you're speaking to, and it's definitely needed topic out there today in the world.
Thank you. That's good. Okay, then. It's whatever you feel like sharing that you will share with us today, and I would just like you to start and just share in terms of your past experiences or what has happened in relation to what you faced, maybe the feeling or the thoughts then when you were thinking of trying to end it, and why you actually didn't. Thank God you did, because
Right.
we will be here today. So just to have an understanding of the thought processes, what leads to it. I mean, from your own experience.
Sure.
And just to just a full, maybe when we understand what people are going through or the thought process behind it, that will help as well.
Sure. I would love to. Well, for me, I married very young. I met my first husband when I was only 16, and we got together quickly. I moved in with him before we got married. I just really wanted to get out of my house. My father was very abusive, and I was kind of escaping that life at the same time as I was, in love. And so I moved in with my first soon-to-be husband. And like I said, I was very young, but I didn't necessarily come from, a right, stable mindset, if you will. So I got married, and I was with my first husband about 9 years. So when I was 25 years old, he went out one evening, and about 3:00 in the morning, the police knocked on my door to let me know that my husband was killed in an accident. And, that just began a devastating, traumatic experience, obviously. And, when trauma occurs, we have an enemy that completely takes advantage of that. And so, in addition to being just completely devastated, I also was perfectly healthy. And, after this traumatic event, I suddenly had, it seemed overnight, if you will, all these health issues as well. And so I immediately was consumed with just despair and this overwhelming desire to take my own life. I really, truly believed that the only way to end the pain that I was feeling was to take my own life. I didn't think there was an option of healing. I didn't think there was any other choice. There was no
Yeah.
other choice in my mind. I absolutely believed the lie that that was the only way to cope. The problem for me, as I saw it as a problem, is that I thought in my warped thinking at this time that I was too chicken to take my own life, and as much as I wanted to end my life, I didn't think I had the courage to put a gun to my head and just end things. And so this is the way that we think when we're so self-consumed
Mm.
with the enemy's plan for our life. And so I was just consumed day and night of thinking about how I could end my life without actually putting a gun to my head. Could I put myself in dangerous situations? Could I, what could I do? And so I began to drink excessively because I was so over crying myself to sleep at night. I thought, well, maybe if I just drink too much, I'll pass out every night. I mean, I just tried all these destructive ways to cope with the pain. And I was, although I, thought I was a Christian before the accident, when this happened, I absolutely blamed God. I told God I hated him. I blamed him for all of it. And so I wanted nothing to do with the very one who could heal me. And so I walked away from God. And, this whole being consumed with suicide was my secret. I didn't want anyone to know because I truly didn't want anyone to stop me. And I also didn't want anyone to feel guilty that I told them and they didn't do something and they didn't stop me, because I really believed that that's what I would do, that I was going to end my life. And so I kept it a secret. And so I probably lived in this place like this for 2 to 3 years. And that was my mindset. And because I didn't talk about it out loud, there was no one who could give me eye-opening
Yeah.
advice, or revelation of, Sharon, let's talk about this warped way of thinking you've got, so it was just my secret. And on the outside, I became this very outgoing life of the party type person because that was how I hid what I was really planning in my life. And so I know that we hear that about folks who finally decide to take their life. All of a sudden they're this in a great mood and you think nothing's wrong with them. And so that is an indicator. But for those folks who listen to your show and have a loved one who took their life and they feel guilty about it, I can tell you that I didn't want it's suicide and being obsessed with wanting to take your own life because of your own pain is so self-consuming. Our eyes are so on us. We're consumed with our pain and our misery. It's a very selfish thing. And, they call it a selfish act. But you're so consumed with it. I can tell you that I did not once think about how me taking my own life would affect or hurt anyone who loved me. I didn't once think about that. And so, I think that that's something for folks who have lost someone to consider, because they're like, well, why would they do this? Don't they know I love them? Don't they know I would have helped them? But the enemy gets you so focused on yourself and your own pain that you don't once think about your loved ones being able to help you, even going to them for help. I mean, it never crossed my mind, even over that 2 or 3 year span, that there was help out there. I mean, I was so convinced that there was no help for me and that this was the only plan, that I wouldn't have asked for help. So I ended up honestly really having an encounter with the Lord. I came to the place where I fortunately had a praying mother who was praying for me, having no idea that I was, suffering like I was. And I
That's
was
a
just,
good thing.
yeah,
No, yeah, that when you have someone in support like that, like a praying mother,
right, right,
it's really a plus. And you might not
right.
know about it as well.
Yeah, so if you are praying for someone, don't stop. Your prayers avail much. And so I ended up, I was in my room one day and I suddenly had this revelation that the void in my life was not my husband, it was God. I had shut God out. And if I would allow God back in, there would be hope for me. And I think when we believe there is no hope, well, then life isn't worth living, you know?
Mm.
And so I literally fell to my face and I repented for, all the things I had told God, for blaming him. And when I did that, um, I couldn't even open my eyes because the overwhelming, what felt like the presence and power of God came into my room. And you know how sometimes your eyes are shut, but you know it's
Feel the
sunlight or
presence.
you right. And
Yeah.
so I was afraid to even open my eyes. And I just knew there was the presence of God around me. And I had this amazing encounter and I knew that it was over, that the pain was over. And I thought for a moment, oh, thank God, I won't cry myself to sleep anymore. So after that encounter, I went to bed that night, and surprisingly, I began to cry myself to sleep. And I thought, man, this was over. But what I realized is that I had now begun the real healing process. And the difference between crying myself to sleep the night before and crying myself to sleep this night was night and day. It had gone from cold and empty and painful to literally feeling like warmth. And I just knew that a healing had
Mm.
begun. And but the main thing for me is that my hope was restored. And I can't tell you that I was healed overnight, but when your hope is restored,
It's a
then
gradual process.
right, then you know that it's possible. But I still had to battle. I believed the lie that I would always be in this pain. It would just become a manageable pain. But I can tell you that that is a lie because with the Lord, He completely heals you. When He heals you, it is done. And so, I finally got to the place where remembering, being married, thinking about my first husband, all of those things didn't carry pain with it any longer.
Mm.
And, just, but I mean, I can't say enough. There's really no words. I can describe all the misery, but there's no words to describe, you know, what the Lord came in and did. And, I think my advice for those who feel the way that I felt, and you just truly believe that there's no hope for this pain to go away other than to end it in the only way possible. Um, yeah, I would just encourage you to say, Jesus, if you are real, uh, you
Come
know,
into my life.
yeah, because, I'm going to end it anyway, right? So if I'm going to end it anyway, why not just give it to you and let's see what happens. And
Mm.
so, at that point, you have nothing to lose. If you really feel you have nothing to lose, then hand your life over to the Lord, the one who can actually do something with it.
Mm.
And so I don't know if that answers your question fully or I left anything out.
Yeah,
Kind of the short version of my long story.
yes, thanks a lot, Sharon. You've actually said a lot. And what actually, struck me while you were chatting with us was the fact that, well, before I say that, I will say that although your husband has passed away quite a long time ago, that, I should still say, accept my condolences or the loss, But in saying that, what actually struck me was the fact that you were just so consumed then, that you didn't share it with anybody at all, and that happens a lot with people. And like you said, that the part of the change in character, that you became this person that was so outgoing, and so that change in character as well, that change in way of life is something that maybe parents or friends can notice and try and find that one thing or the other, and most importantly, that hope, because hope is a big thing. When one has hope, there is, no matter the challenges, you have hope, that and the belief that you can still do it. And the last episode, I I actually read a poem, and the poem was titled "A Shattered Glass No More." That is, we all go through challenges in life, and we all get shattered one way or the other. But we should not think of ending it, because the shattered glass is a test. And when we are mending it, it becomes a message. Now look at how beautiful you are now on this platform and chatting. It's been, the shattered glass has been mended now. The shattered, when we look at a glass that is broken,
Mm-hmm.
and you try and put it together to become, most of the time, it's even more beautiful than when it was shattered. So, what I'm just trying to say is that we all go through challenges in life, and the fact that someone out there is, feeling or gone through pain or trauma or whatever anybody has gone through, and they're thinking that, oh, the last result, or just, that voice saying, that line voice saying that, just end it. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have to say no, although it's not easy. It's easier said than done, someone will say out there. But if you can fully just say no, and like Sharon said, even if you don't, it's not everybody that knows um, the power and the presence of Jesus Christ. But give it a try, give it a chance, because that is a big help in terms of support.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and we should not be. We should not be on our own. We should always try and ask for help from our family, from trusted family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that this has really helped someone out there, and parents and guardians as well, to understand and be able to observe some of the inhibiting factors that happen with people going through these feelings and not saying it. Like Sharon just said, she didn't say it to any. I was about to ask that question, that didn't you even utter a word to anybody? So that is the consuming factor, because you were just thinking. But that doesn't make you self-centered or anything. It's just because of everything that was going on at that time, and it's too much. But I'm very grateful and happy that you're here and you're doing well.
Me
Doing
too.
very well. Yeah, doing very well, in fact. So, and smiling and looking beautiful. So for everyone out there as well, don't give up. Don't, if you're feeling down or feeling one pain or the other, just shout out to someone, maybe a trusted person. And especially if you know the Lord, that helps a big deal as
Right.
well.
Mm-hmm.
To not just manage things, but to actually make everything right. Do you have anything else to say, Sharon, before we?
No, I mean, well, yeah, I'll just end on this, I guess. I mean, I love your shattered glass analogy. It reminds me of the scripture where God makes beauty from ashes.
Yeah.
And, the Lord spoke to me recently that, when He came and met me in that place in my room when I was on my face, He could have healed me of everything. Remember, I ended up with all these health issues, but He only delivered me from the spirit of suicide at that
Yeah.
time. And then from that, He taught me how to go to war with His scripture for the promises in His word. And because of that journey, I'm able to now, lead this ministry called Women at War that, He birthed, He named, He launched, and teach other women how to, destroy the enemy in their lives and go after the promises of His word and achieve them, because we're promised the victory. And so,
Mm.
for me, having come full circle now, almost 50, well, I can't say, let's see, that was over 25 years ago, right? Um, so it's a long journey in the making, but now is the time. And so I absolutely walk in the joy and the love that I get to do this today. And it's all out of what the enemy tried to destroy, right? What the enemy tried to do for harm, the Lord turned around and used for his good. And so that is hope, right? And so we don't know what's in store for our future, but we know that we have an enemy that wants us to believe there's no hope for our future. But God can take anyone and anything, and nothing's impossible for him. And so I just want to say thank you again for hosting a podcast on a platform like this that really speaks to the people out there who aren't speaking to others about this.
Yeah.
So I just pray that this reaches them
Amen.
with your heart and your desire to help in that way. And God really blesses this and uses it in a phenomenal way, more than you can imagine.
Yes, amen. Thank you. So on that note, I'll bring our chat to an end, but definitely not an end, because we're going to meet soon again with someone else that will be bringing as well, that will chat with us in terms of her her story as well. And hopefully very soon we'll be hosting a virtual summit on the same topic: why suicide, why not, and life. And that will be end of August. So be on the lookout for that. And like we say on this platform, keep on smiling, keep laughing, and know that there is always a way out of any mess. A good way, I must say.
Yes.
So take care of yourselves. God bless, and ciao. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.